Okay, countdown has been given. Races should be going off now. This match is between Yam and BaronVonBryan. Yeah, let's see how it goes. Just waiting for this.
Yeah, welcome everybody.
Streams.
To answer your question, Ace, this is going to be real time purely because Baron doesn't have auto splitter set up. So yeah, it'll be real time, but with loads, I suppose. Sorry, with loads. It's not going to be in game time. Although it might be better for us to look at the in game time just because of that fact. I don't know. Ah, yeah, Baron is on Switch. I forgot about that fact. So yeah, in game time. Well, just to kind of talk about Baron's time, it was a respectable first lap. Obviously, he's very much a newcomer, so for the how early he is into running the game, it was a pretty good first lap.
Okay, I think everything miraculously. Duncan, you see? Oh no, I have to reshare. God. Alright, I reshared.
The first track.
It's fine, it's fine. Okay, everything's good.
45, thank you, Draco, for that. It was kind of awkward timing for us to try to catch it. Seems like Yam is proving his experience to be pretty valuable, though. So this track, Mon Gazza Speedway, it is pretty scary because it's really easy to crash on all the AI that you lap. And honestly, it's surprising at how easily even newer... Oh, and speaking of, Yam crashes, but not to an AI. He just got a little bit greedy on that corner. That'll help Baron make some time. Looks like we got a 108.4 and a 107.9. All right, so moving on to the track Beeto's Wild Ride, we're going to see possibly some different routes here, depending on if Baron feels comfortable or if Yam feels comfortable with using the tent on laps 2 and 3. We'll have to see. As of right now, it looks like Baron missed the ice shortcut, I'm pretty sure. Otherwise, I don't know why he would be so far behind already. Yeah, I'm doing a good job jumping over the off-road. Very nice. Let's see if he goes for slot here. Looks like he's doing a slot boost. Makes it. Baron not taking anywhere near the meta route here. You're not going to see this on any normal day.
Okay, going through the cave.
The cave is actually pretty fun. It's just so much slower. And he was not able to boost through like any of it, which really hurts him.
I'm not going through
Also,
tent either.
the tent. This is going to be massive time loss for Baron.
Not utilizing the boost much either.
Yeah, this is not what you want to be seeing in terms of keeping up with somebody as good as Yam is. It has to be said, though, that Yam is doing pretty clean racing, so even if Baron was taking really good routes and boosting enough, it'd be pretty hard to keep up with this. Yam coming in with a 1:19 second lap, which is a very good time, actually. Normally, you'd want to see something around a low 1:18 probably, but that's only at the very top level of the category, and since Yam hasn't practiced this a ton, that's a very, very good time. He did mess up the exit of the 10 a little bit, though. Gonna make his lap 3 a little worse. Baron comes in with what appears to be a 1:34. That is 15 seconds of time loss on just lap 2 alone. That's terrifying.
That's tough, that's tough.
Still misses both routes. Man. It's going to be unfortunate. I don't know if Yam can make enough mistakes even after this track to really keep Baron in the running. Maybe Vengeance will be just that bad. Who knows? Yam coming in to finish up. Looks like we're going to see about a 4:01. A 4:01.4, it looks like. Oh, and Baron taking a very strange death there. Not one you see every day.
401 is decent. A decent time, yep. Switching to Aldar, of course. Baron also has this luxury if he chooses to. Since he's playing on Switch, which is 60 FPS. Aldar is quite controllable there.
For sure, and I would say that even for somebody at Baron's level, it would be significantly advantageous, especially because Baron doesn't boost as much as he should. And Baron coming in with a 445. 0.4.
Yams racing looking quite clean. Makes it through the figure 8.
115 on highest heat is all right for lap 1. Looks like Baron unfortunately didn't switch to Eldar, and on top of that was already about a minute behind in game time coming out of the first 3 tracks combined.
Yeah.
So this is going to be really kind of insurmountable after, even just right now it might be insurmountable as a time loss.
Yeah, not switching to Aldar is just... I don't think there's any way to win without it.
Agreed. That, and he also took a crash even and is underheating, so really there's just no real advantage to staying on EP. And I'm not sure if this is just a lack of route knowledge or a lack of comfort with Eldar. Yeah, I'm coming to the end of lap 2. Again, doing pretty high heat strats, but that's alright. He doesn't have to play perfectly here. If he keeps up this pace, it looks like he's probably gonna pull somewhere in the range of, what, 3:45-ish, I would say, which is a pretty respectable time. As Draco has pointed out in chat, it looks like Yam is getting close to actually being able to lap Baron on this track, which is really not what you want to see if you're rooting for Baron here. Doesn't look like it's going to actually happen, but it was awfully close. And both are now closing up their final turns of their respective laps. Yam coming in with a 3:43, a little bit better than I was expecting.
Wow, that's good.
Onto M100, which this is where 60 FPS is a little bit not helpful, just because it's really hard to avoid speed loss that would be unnecessary on lower frame rates. So I'm not sure what Yam is running this on, but we'll have to see how he takes the hairpin.
I believe he's running on 60.
I would suspect that he is as well, yeah. Taking the little fast train route there. Yam doing a good job remembering that. Although he did go a little wide, it's not a big problem. Ooh, that was not the best hairpin, but doesn't really matter that much. Aaron coming in here, clearly going to lose around minimum 30 seconds. Going to be more than that, actually. Closing out a 4:17.8.
This fast terrain section that Yam just died to is actually just a better a better line in general, as well as also being fast terrain.
Yeah, and a lot of people think that it's a longer line. In fact, it was only, I think, really in the past like month and a half or so that we came to the conclusion that it's a better line. BaronVonBryan not switching off EB at all. It looks like he's going to be doing this entire run on purely EB Endicott, which is a horribly slow way to do it. I would say at this point it might just be a lack of knowledge about the category.
Yeah, he's a very new runner, new to the community, so I suspect it's just lack of knowledge or just simply forgot at the moment.
Yeah, and sometimes you might feel like you're not racing good enough if you're new to the community to actually switch off of a more comfortable pod like EB. And that's was that a 238, I believe?
I believe so.
Not a very good time, but given the death, that makes a lot of sense. And here is what most people consider to be the hardest track in the amateur circuit, at least with regards to this category. It's a little debatable if you're talking about Max Averada Ales. And ooh, BaronVonBryan taking a death on the hairpin in lap 2. But Vengeance is notorious for the zero gravity tubes that are going to be coming up, as well as the large amount of fast terrain within those, which kind of define if you can get a good time or not. We'll have to see how Yam manages it here. He should be alright, even though he made a little bit of a mistake there. Yeah, he's good to just hold this out until the end. Hopefully he remembers to do that and doesn't boost in the tube unnecessarily.
Yeah, you can actually make it through the entire tube without boosting, which makes things a lot easier.
Ooh, Baron taking another death there. I didn't really see why, but it looked like he probably clipped a little bit of the corner there.
Yeah, makes it through the first lap cleanly.
Yam coming in with a 129. He's certainly not going to have the best Vengeance time here, but part of that time loss was due to having a bad box. So he seems to know what he's doing in general, just not having the cleanest race.
A 304.
And it looks like... Did anybody catch what that M100 time was for Baron?
It was a 304.
304? Okay.
I can't really tell how good that is because he's using EB, but yeah, that was also with a death or 2, maybe.
I believe at least 2 deaths. So, BaronVonBryan is about 2 minutes behind in in-game time at this point. Really, I would say it's certainly impossible to catch up at this point. Yam coming through pretty comfortably here.
Let's see if you can make the rest of this deathless. Oh.
A 125 is not a bad second lap. Baron looking a little frustrated with his camera there at that death. Not really sure if that was or if I'm just projecting how I would be feeling if I died there. Ooh, another death too. Not good. And Vengeance is very bad for newer players, I would say. I remember when I first started playing the game, I tried to do amateur circuit upgrades and I died at least like 7 times in the track at the beginning.
Yeah, with no preparation, it's quite hard to find the correct patterns to avoid the rocks.
A 157 first lap. That's going to be really not good for his overall time if he keeps up that pace. Yam approaching the end of his third lap. He's gonna have a pretty big underheat compared to what he should have at the end, but it's not gonna be the worst thing ever.
419.
419. It's sub 420, which is at least respectable, and he had some bad blocks.
It could definitely go a lot worse.
Yeah, and especially in a situation where you only have one chance to do it, it's not that bad. Although, as Ace has pointed out, missing 420 is always disappointing.
Oh, that was so close.
Not sure how Baron actually managed to stay there. Oh! And it looks like the game decided to trick him into a false sense of security there, as it usually does.
It's lucky Baron hasn't soft locked yet.
Yeah, with the number of crashes on asteroids, there's always that possibility. Especially on 60 FPS, and on Switch that would be horrible because you can't really alt-tab like you can on PC.
Yeah, that would be a DNF or you'd have to restart the race.
Yeah, I'm taking somewhat safe lines here, I would say. Except for that corner where he tried to go really aggressive and almost got himself killed. That is correct, Digital. Baron is on Switch and has used EB for every single race, which is not a good decision in terms of getting a good time here, but I really think he's more just into kind of competing for the sake of competing, kind of like how Magius is. Yeah, I'm getting a 145 first lap. It's alright. I mean, it certainly could be better, but it's certainly good enough at the same time for what he's going for. Baron having a very large number of deaths in these tubes at this point. I'm a little bit concerned about his mentality, even going into Spice Mine.
Yeah. I think we're gonna, like, lightning usually counts up, like, most of the deaths within, like, these tournaments, so I'm curious to see how many happened here. And I think Vengeance in general is gonna have a high death rate. Okay, finishing up.
Overall, it should be higher, yeah. Looks like that was a 518.7.
That is nearly over a minute lost to Yam.
Yeah, Baron is now sitting about 3 minutes behind in in-game time behind Yam. That is correct, Digital. The winner of this plays me, and then the winner of myself versus the winner of this, which at this point is pretty much guaranteed to be Yam unless Yam literally loses his entire game somehow. Yam appears to be on pace for somewhere around a, what, 508 probably, which is a very nice time for a Spice Mine.
That would be the fastest Spice Mine in tournament yet. 508. Best is a 509.1 by Metallica.
Very nice. The limit for reference of Aldar and Spice Mine is around. Is probably a mid to high 505. I have personally only ever gotten one 505. It was a 505.9 something. But you can probably do a little bit better than that even. So keeping up with that pace in a tournament, especially in something that takes 5 minutes and is very particular about how you have to approach it, is a very impressive showing, to say the least.
Yay, left path from Baron. Is slower, I think, but probably not by much, right?
It's a longer line, but it's not the worst mistake you could ever make if you're new to the game. However, being on this bottom path versus the top, a lot of people are less familiar with the bottom path, so we'll have to see if he handles it all right, which he seems to be, except for his heat levels. Yeah, I'm closing up lap 3 as Baron finishes lap 1 here. We'll have to see what time he gets. Doesn't look like it's going to be as fast as I thought it would be, but it's going to be close.
509.4.
Looked like around that.
The fastest pod racer in the galaxy.
509.5.
Beedo.
Okay. I guess.
The winner of this is certainly Yam, no matter what way you look at it, whether it be real time or in-game time. So it doesn't really matter that much. But regardless, congrats to Yam here, and it was a pretty clean time considering that his 24:38 time displayed was with loads. So certainly lost time there.
I think that was around a 23:25 in-game time, something like that. I don't have the decimals really up.
Let me do some addition here. I don't have the exact decimals, but it'll be pretty close. It appears that his in-game time was around, let's see, he had 227.4 there. Looks like around 27.4-ish. It was probably higher decimal than that, or a couple seconds higher because of decimals I didn't quite catch, but around a 23:27, which is a very nice, respectable time for a tournament situation for sure. Especially given that he had at least one death in there. I think he might have had two. Yeah, he had a death on Mon Gazza and a death on M100. So yeah, the next and final round of the round 1 bracket in terms of like the full round 1 bracket will be myself versus Yam, and then we'll be moving on to round 2, which will include Goofbrush versus Metallica, and then Digital Unity. Sorry, Digital. I didn't mean to mess up your name that badly. Versus the winner of myself and Yam. So I hope you guys will look forward to those matches. They should have some pretty good ones. I'm personally looking forward to watching Goof versus Metallica, given that those two happen to be very similar in overall skill level in the category.
And Baron coming up on the ending.
Yeah, looks like it's going to be certainly over 6 minutes. Almost crashes at the end there.
At 6:07.
Looks like a 6:07.420. We got a 420 in there.
Way.
Let's go.
Hello.
Hello?
Congratulations to you, Yam, for winning the match. It was Not supremely close this time, but you certainly put up a good showing, especially since you had a couple deaths in there too. Very respectable time.
Thanks. Yeah, I was a little freaked out because I had a false start. I thought I was in free play at the beginning, and I was just kind of flipping out for the first minute of the match. But and yeah, a couple deaths, a little sketchy, but not too bad.
Yep, clean racing overall. I think you had around a 23-27 in game time, which is definitely decent.
Nice. Yeah, I don't even know what's the record these days.
What is it? It's like a 22:59 by Dom or something like that.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah. So I got a little work to do.
Yeah, me and Metallica both got a 23:08 and a 23:09.
Nice. Damn. Yeah, those are some good times.
So I have a overall 23:36 recorded that I haven't submitted purely because I have been lazy, and the in-game estimate for that was 22:56.6, and I also have a playlist of the potential of the category just for reference. And the potential of the category is a 22:53.5 in game time as of right now.
Okay. Yeah, that's it's a little ways off, but I don't know. I mean,
With 2 deaths and not a ton of practice, you're putting up good times though, regardless.
right. Yeah, I think if I I didn't even really have the boost lines very down. I had them sorted down on a couple tracks, but I think if I get that a little more down, and I don't die, obviously, I feel like I could come in striking distance.
Yeah, and certainly I could make mistakes in our match. I mean, tournament situation is always a lot more stressful, and if I go too greedily just thinking that I'm confident about it, then it could be not the best for me personally. But hey, regardless, we should have ourselves a good match to finish off the quarters bracket, part of the bracket, as Draco corrected me on there. So hopefully we'll be able to get that out sometime somewhat soonish, and we can move on with the rest of the bracket. And we'll have to see how the actual semifinals will be shaping up.
Yeah, for sure. Should be some good matches in the future. Definitely looking forward to Goof and Metallica, like you were saying. Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah. Baron can't make it for post match, but GG's to the both of you. Yeah, good racing from Yam, and for how new Baron is, it's quite decent for him to show up.
Yeah, I'll have to watch back and see how he did, but for a beginner, I'm sure he did pretty good if he came, relatively close at all. I also didn't realize he was racing on the Switch, which is a whole different setup, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on top of that, he didn't switch off of EB, so his time, despite looking really slow, was arguably not that bad, purely because of strategic problems where he didn't know correct routes and didn't know correct pod switches. So overall, not a bad time for that.
Yeah, sure. It definitely hurts if you just don't know the right routes and stuff.
So overall, what do you think you did the best on, if you can kind of think back to how you felt about the tracks? Do you feel like you did particularly well for yourself on any of them?
I think I had a pretty clean Vengeance. I was pretty happy with Vengeance just because I didn't die and it felt all right. I didn't bonk. Spice Mine was okay. It was a little bit of a mess, but I didn't bonk really either, so that was okay. Let me think back. Yeah, AQC was okay. But yeah, mostly Vengeance, I think, went better than I thought it would. The death on M100 was pretty scary because I thought I was gonna, fall into the chasm there. Because that was really low speed.
Oh yeah. That's a good point, actually. That could have resulted in a pretty bad situation.
Yeah, I died I respawned just on the other end of the fast terrain, and I thought for sure I was gonna just fall into the gap.
Certainly could have happened, and that's a pretty bad place to die in general, just because of the fact that you have to then nose up, which loses you even more speed and whatnot.
Yeah, I was barely able to get the boost off just before the jump.
You were running on 60 FPS, right?
Yeah, I was.
That makes sense. Personally, I am going to continue running on 55, which doesn't really change much. I just feel more comfortable with the hairpin on 55 FPS than 60.
Yeah, the hairpin was a little sketchy, but I think it was mostly just nerves that were making it harder to time than usual.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't help anything. You start thinking about maybe even, start sliding really early and you don't have that privilege on higher FPS.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, GG's again on a very solid showing for your first ever tournament showing here. And I look forward to our match and seeing how you'll do in the future annual tournament, assuming you have the time to participate.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, I hope I will. And yeah, it'll be a fun match. And yeah, GG's to Brian too. Good, showing for a newcomer. Hope he keeps working and posts up some cool times and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you to Goof for hosting the stream and co-commentating with me today. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the upcoming matches. And may the force be with you.